Damn, street niggas, we ain't really comfortable with all of that thing. What you trying to say?
Do what you do, baby.
Yeah, I want congrats. I seen to come up through the mud. You feel me?
Real
Yeah, I'm saying, like I said, I used to be top. I'm one of the ones. When that nigga said he had a phone, his whole joke, and I'm looking at the screen like preach, cause I was on the phone with him. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying?
Speak that up the general. You know the podcast. You keep your body clean, huh?
Right.
Yeah. What's time, homie?
What's up?
You ready to get into it, or you want to catch the people out?
I mean, man, shout out to you, whatever, for having me on your podcast and stuff like that, man. I appreciate it. So, like you said, I like that juvenile line you just said too. That was the classic.
Man, shout out to you, you heard me? What's your name, brother? Introduce yourself to my viewers.
For the people that don't know me, my real name Gregory Earls, but people know me by GeedyP. GeedyP Speaks. You know, a lot of people know me by that name, so that's the name to, people in hip hop.
Coming from another media person, New Orleans, I give it to you. You the hottest in the city, my dude.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Humbly appreciate it.
What part of the city you from?
Well, I always tell people I grew up between the East and the Seventh Ward, and I know sometimes people are like, oh man, that's Deuce Ward. You can't do that. You can't pick two hoods. But people get mad at Tupac for not representing, Harlem, because he was born in Harlem, but he got a lot of his game from the Bay and Marin City and Oakland. And just like Baby, he lived in the Third Ward and he lived in the 13. And he always rep Uptown, so he showed love to 13 and the Third Ward. So me, I grew up in the Seventh Ward in the East. So. But by me going to school mostly in the East, even though when we stayed downtown in 716 Ward, I still was going to school mostly in the East or whatever when I got definitely the middle school, like Livingston and Averson. So I really say Tyra Lane more or whatever. Tyra Lane in the East, when Soldier Slim said 95 round Tyra Lane and Buster Brain. On streets, maybe that's the street I really see.
I used to stay on Sydney Place, you hear me?
Oh, I see you. You already know what I'm talking about. Then you know how
I know the vibes. I know the vibes. Where you jumped off the porch at?
I would say in the East. I would say I jumped off the porch in the East. I learned a lot of shit, in the East, and we was doing shit bad back then. So if you familiar with the East, you know about niggas going to the plaza stealing. We fucking banging down nickels the size of quarters to put in the video game at Fun Arcade. We stealing quarters out the wishing well. Aladdin's Castle. Listen, Aladdin's Castle made those tokens because of people like us. Because we was taking nickels and hammering them down and putting them in the machine, and it'll be a quarter. So they started making us use the coins, the tokens, to play the video game. So you remember, that's why, because we did that a lot. And my daddy from Uptown, so he showed me how to do that. Once we did it, they started doing that. The people at Fun Arcade, they used to run us out of there. They're like, y'all got whatchamacallit, let me see y'all change. My man, you ain't got to check our change, whatever. And they seen we was a problem, so they was like, y'all go ahead. So but I would say the East, whatever, fightings and all the stuff, whatever, fucking with girls, I would say Tyra Lane.
Remember the little fake quarter money that used to come in the pack with the fake dollars and shit?
Yeah. It was like plastic and shit like that.
That's what they used to use.
They were still working too?
Yeah, they used to run us out that motherfuckers too. You heard
See
me?
what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm saying. So where you grew up at? So where you from? What part of the city you from?
I'm from out the A-Ward, but I moved in the East in 99. I think I was 14, 15.
And see, my cousin Ronald from out the A-Ward. So I used to be in the A-Ward a lot. He went to Colton. He stayed on Mansville and Murray. We used to be playing football by the little church that they had. I was cool to do with little Eric. He did now. Eric Darcy used to play basketball. Eric was cool.
He went to Catholic.
You know Lil E?
I know Lil E.
All right, yeah. So the East always had the Jays and shit, basketball, like Iverson crossover. I used to be with Pee Wee, Clemens, all the dudes be around there and shit like that.
It's all good. What's recipe to eat too?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a dog. Yeah.
Was being in front and behind the camera always the plan for you?
No, because I always really want to just do the music executive shit. That's who I always study. Like on my Instagram profile right now, and shout out to Black History Month, I got Barry Gordy is my own profile picture holding Marvin Gaye record in his hand. So I always wanted to be like a music executive and stuff like that. Like I like the Master P and Baby and Slim and Jay Prince, Tony Draper, Luke and Jermaine Dupri, Russell, Puffy, all those dudes like that, Easy E and Irv Gotti and Damn Dance and all them. So I studied all them, so I always wanted to do that or whatever. So I never thought I'd be doing the media stuff, but because of the way the internet is and podcasts and everything, so YouTube stuff, it like and Instagram, it just kind of thrust me into that position. But my thing was always just working with the artists and knowing management, like wanting to own my own record label. That was always my thing.
So you studied the boss.
Yeah, studied the bosses.
You had any influence on like online internet media, podcasts, anything like that, or you just got your game from the boss?
Well, once I got into the media stuff or whatever, that became because of Sean Cotton posting me out there, and and then I started getting posted on Say Cheese a lot, for free, and he kept on posting my opinions about defending New Orleans, and that's how he kind of gave me New Orleans spokesman nickname. I never said I was no spokesman. I just said how I felt about things, and I guess he found my personality interesting, just like everybody else he interviewed. But then when I went to studying how he posts on Say Cheese, like how he do the collage and use the picture and then put the video. I'm like, all right, but damn, what is he using? Like, I went to my app on my phone and I was like, video collages with pictures, and I'm like, oh, all right, this how he do it. And I put the picture on there and I do it. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, how I watermark it? I'm seeing how to watermark it. And then I started doing that or whatever. And then I seen him doing it.
Explain that to me, because I don't know how to fucking use it.
Okay, well, like I have to tell you, like, because I don't know it off head the name of the apps, but I have to probably send them to you after we get off the interview. But I went to like the app store and I typed in like video collages apps, and then they gonna have different video collages. They might have like the number one video collage one, I think one called Vout or something like that. Something I think is something with a V, but that's one of them. And you use that app and you like, I take a picture, like say a Chief Keef off the internet, and then Chief Keef might be saying something in the video. I'm gonna put the picture on one side, and then I'm gonna take the video of Chief Keef talking off YouTube, the little 10-minute clip, or on a 1-minute clip or whatever, and put it on the other side of the collage, and then I'm gonna save it. So when I put it on there, the algorithm is gonna pay attention to that more. Because if you just take Chief Keef video and probably put it up there, it probably still do good because it's Chief Keef. I just say I posted you and nobody don't know you. They not gonna probably just jump on if I just post your video. But if I post you next to Birdman, they gonna be like, oh shit, what he saying about Birdman? That's gonna grab their attention. So Sean said that's how you get their attention with the algorithms. So I went to doing that. I went to finding tweets with people. Like people might say something on Twitter that, I feel like New Orleans got better food than this part of the state or whatever. And then that's gonna start a barbershop conversation. So I take that and I post that, and that's gonna create content. So you could find content with stuff on YouTube. You might find something on Twitter. You might find a tweet that somebody said, and that's how I did it. So when I seen Sean doing stuff like that, and I seen Sean getting interviewed and talking about stuff, I'm like, all right, he branding himself, showing his perspective, but then he interviewing people and people like that. Plus, he blogging about people and giving people like a way where they could kind of have a platform to be seen by another audience, like the Apollo Theater. If you like it, like it. If you don't, you're gonna boom or you gonna fuck with it.
Yeah. So, right when you started doing it, right, did it kick off, or you know what I'm saying? Did it gradually, start picking up its pace?
It gradually picked up with her because even though Sean was still post me, a lot of times some people wasn't really following me. Some people did, but a lot of people didn't. Some people was like, "Oh, who the fuck is he? He not no New Orleans spokesman." That's why I said in the Say Cheese interview when he was like, some people, was feeling like they was mad when I called you the New Orleans spokesman. I was like, Sean, I never said I was nothing. I was just saying how I felt. You just liked how I was talking and you posted me, but I never said I was nothing. I just was doing what I was doing. So
That's a true New Orleans answer, nigga.
yeah, I mean, so and I'm truly 504. And so he so like I said, I just kept getting on that. But like I said, my content wasn't friendly to people because it was like hitting the hornet's nest. If I come on there and say, oh, Kodak and them talking about, they were saying Stepper first, or Baton Rouge or this place, I was like, no, BG been saying that on in my struggle on All On You Volume 1. When he was like, my state is a struggle, you hustle to live large, you step to get stepped on. And Juvenile said, and a lot of them said it. But I was saying that, and then people would get mad. Oh man, you think New Orleans started everything? So people was mad with me because it was more inflammatory content. But I had to keep being consistent. But the more I stayed consistent, they seen I was credible. Then I started winning the people over. But it all was a process. Then I got my page is deleted. I ain't got my page deleted. I'm on my full Instagram right now, and I'm almost at 10,000 again. But I would have probably had 20, maybe 50,000, maybe 100K. I don't know. But my shit kept getting deleted, so I just got up. You know, it ain't which my brother say. It's a choice to getting. I mean, you can get knocked down. I think he said something about
Get back up.
it's a mistake to fall down, but it's a choice to stay down. Something like that. Like you got to get up, basically, or whatever. Like you can't cry about it. You got to get up and keep moving.
The same thing happening to me, bro. What you think they just fucking with media people from New Orleans, or do we hit a nerve when we speak the truth? Because just like you said, you posted the inflammatory shit with the facts with it. So you think that's what it is, or you think social media just fucking with us? Because the
It
same
could be.
thing happened to me, G.
It could be that. It could be that because, like I said, a lot of times the Instagram's so sensitive. They like one of the most sensitive apps too. To me,
Nah, Facebook. I think
well,
Facebook
no,
way.
Facebook. But you know, Facebook own them too, or not? But Facebook is because Facebook more family friendly, but they owned by the same man, Mark. You know, so Facebook really sensitive. Instagram is too, or whatever. And like I said, then a lot of times some of those people that probably didn't like what I was saying, maybe not liking what you're saying too, probably could have been flagging it. People could be like teaming up saying flag them every chance you get to get a block. Because you know they never really tell you why your shit got who deleted it, people was flagging you, and never really know because it's like anonymous. So it could be a combination of those things, whatever and all that. But it's definitely unfortunate because it's not easy building that audience. Like that shit take work, time, months, years to gain that organic following. You know, but like you said,
Organic. That's the key word. Organic.
I don't pay for no followers. I
Me
ain't doing
neither.
all that.
Me neither.
Niggas won't buy followers and have all these fake followers to make the shit look good and fluff the numbers up. But your comments don't reflect that. You know, when you see their comments, they got robots in their comments. When you see their likes, they don't got no likes, but they got all these followers. So I'm not with all that shit. If it's for me, it's for me. If it ain't, it ain't. I know that by me putting out credible content with good reference videos, like how the Shade Room might have Carly B said this on this show, but then she mad at Meg Thee Stallion, this person saying this on another show. She gonna show the audience, all right, this is what she's saying because it comes from this. And then this is a tweet that this person said, or this is something that somebody said on their Instagram story with some words. Like they gonna have all the information and facts. And that's what I pride myself on, doing great homework on getting the greatest information to my audience. And I feel like that's why they fuck with me, because my credibility and me not being biased and trying to be inclusive as possible. That's what kind of got me to where I'm at by the grace of God, you know.
Got to raise a God. I'm biased, dude.
Okay.
Do you go back and forth in your comments?
No, at first I used to do that when I was on Say Cheese because I didn't understand the trolls and how they was. But once I started understanding, I don't even comment back. But I don't get a lot of backlash like I used to when I was on Say Cheese because my audience know who I'm is. So it's not as disrespectful and toxic. And one thing I could say about my comments, because Sean Cotton always say that his comment section is very toxic and everybody really mean, they curse out about my comments. Thank God it's not like that. You don't be seeing niggas, where you at, nigga? I'm a kid. You don't play with me, bitch ass nigga. We'll fuck you up. It don't really be like that. Not saying I haven't seen that in my comments before, but it's very, very rare. It's like 10% chance I see that. People on my comments, even if they don't agree, they don't really be saying they gonna pull up, nigga, drop your low, I'll fuck you up, blow your they don't do all that. And I didn't, because I don't put that kind of content out. So my audience kind of represent my personality in a way. They kind of like mine, I guess.
It's
Because I
like
didn't build it all. I
with
didn't
the
build all my shit off just controversial mess. When you build your shit on dirt and mess and all that, then you're gonna get that kind of energy. I don't build it on it.
That's the same in the street.
Exactly, right. Whatever you put out, you're gonna get back.
What was your first live and what was your first official interview?
My first live, ooh, that's kind of hard to remember my first live. I've been going live a long time. But I remember a good live that I had that was me and Wayno was going back and forth. They used to be Dave East manager and work with Rockefeller. Me and him was going back and forth about Jay-Z and Wayne. And I was telling him how I felt about that, and he said how he felt. Matter of fact, it's still on YouTube. This one he was on Everyday Struggle with the academics and shit. And everybody's like I had got the best of him, but he hung me up or whatever because I guess he couldn't handle the sparring that we was doing. Yeah. So he was talking about and Jay-Z, my favorite rapper, Jay-Z and Tupac, and he was saying something like Jay-Z was the hottest and why he was king of New York. I'm like, no, before Jig became king of New York later, I'm like, you know, it was big. Then like I was like Nas around that time. Like I was talking about the 90s and all that. And I was in some kind of way I got on. I was like on Bad Boys really hot. And I said 98, Jay had it. I'm like DMX had it. Like DMX dropped 2 multi-platinum albums in 98. Plus he dropped Belly in November of 98. So nobody wasn't hotter than him. And even when Jay-Z had won a Grammy after DMX passed, he was saying that the Grammys had it wrong with giving him that album for the rap album of the year in 98 at the Grammys for Hard Knock Life Volume 2. He said DMX should have got that for one of his albums because he had a better year than him. So when Wayno was saying what he's saying, he was being biased because he worked for Rockefeller. I wasn't, and he couldn't take that. So that was a live I remember. Now you saying you said my first real interview that I did. My first real interview, I think, was with a guy. I think it was Mario. This guy named Mario. They called him Yo. He had the 7 Wall, and Mario did my first interview, and that was a dope interview. And my dog J. Arson paid for it. J. Arson had an interview because he was trying to give some media guys attention, and he had an interview that he paid for the guy, and I think he had an extra one, but he did it for somebody else that he was cool with, and they didn't show up or something. And I was just having to be with J. Arson. So after J. Arson did his interview, he was like, GD, he gonna interview you. And so that's why I gotta thank J. Arson after 7 Wall, because J. Arson saw it in me early, and he was like, man, you get on there and talk your shit, man. You do an interview. And that was the first time I did an interview. But I'm lying. The first person that really, really interviewed me was Superbad. Superbad interviewed me in 2018 or 2017. Before
you've been doing this.
Huh?
You've been doing this.
Yeah, she interviewed me. She always thought I was interested, and she was like, I'm gonna interview you. And it's crazy that people interview me now, and this is what it is. But we was just playing. And I just thought she was joking bad off me or whatever. And she was like, yeah.
Well,
I really did. I thought
for the people who not from New Orleans, right? Explain what Joseph Bad is.
Joseph Bad mean like it could be like you joking about something, you trying to clown me and be like kind of funny in a funny way, like in a funny type of way or whatever. So Joseph could be like, we on the phone, Joseph joking and talking about shit and fucking with each other, just playing around. Or it could mean like somebody in prison, they're doing a bid, they're doing some time. If you did a Joseph, you did like 10 years, you just in prison, sitting in jail.
6 months ain't no joke,
whatever. Yeah, 6 months. That everything. Like most people, when they use the word jokes, is like something that's pretty long. That they doing some long little time. They've been gone for a while. They've been joking. So like I said, in New Orleans, things mean a lot of different meanings. But Superbad, the rapper that made Meeting in My Bedroom, that was the first person that interviewed me, and yeah, so that was the first interview. But the first official one with real cameras, lights, and all that stuff, and the set was with the guy Mario. That interview, not the same one.
Who was the first person you interviewed?
The first person I really interviewed was my cousin Pedro or whatever. And that was me just trying to test it out and get when I got my camera and all that. And he was the first person that was starting to rap with my brothers and my cousins and all that when we first started. So he always was with me when I was doing the music. And I bought my first studio for $10,000. My Phantoms, my MPC 2500 and all that shit. He was there working the keyboard and all that, doing all that with me. So he was the first person I interviewed in this new thing because he comes from me when I was doing the music business stuff. So I wanted to do with him. The first notable person I interviewed after that, right after I interviewed my cousin Drew, was Mr. Mina from Partners in Crime. And that was a dope interview. And, Mina, used to work with BTY Youngin. And I got a lot of respect for Mina and Partners in Crime. So Mina, did that with me. And Mina had told a story about how Master P was supposed to pit him for Down South Hustlers when they was on there. And he didn't want to give him the record. And they got into it with him by Suno at the school in Gentilly. And then they saw each other at Whispers. And P like, I ain't giving you no money, and he threw the money at him and all that, and said, me can't go in and pick the money up and win the bond. Said, nigga, you still owe us $4,500 more or something like that. Cause I think they were supposed to get $5,000 for the feature or something that was on Downside Hustlers. But it was a story that Mr. Mina said he never had told to no interview person, and I wound up getting the story out of him because I was like, why y'all wasn't on No Limit? And I wasn't being messy. I just wanted to know, like, damn, a lot of artists that was hot that was on Big Boy when Chuck went to prison, jumped on No Limit. And, and y'all was one of the biggest flagship artists on Big Boy Records at the time. So I just wanted to know, and he told me that's what happened. The shit on Downside Hustlers in 95 stopped them from doing business with Pete at the time.
That's what's up. So is it you got a favorite artist in the city and a favorite artist in mainstream rap?
My favorite artist is the one I'm working with right now. I've been knowing him a while, whatever. I know people probably feel like you pick, but you asking me my opinion. Because a lot of
Right.
times people be acting like, no, I'm this about you asking me a question about me.
Right.
It's an interview about me, and I like J Merck that I'm working with. That's why I'm back doing it because I wasn't even working with artists no more. I was kind of like really wasn't feeling it. But J Merck that was in Angola that I'm working with right now, that I met through BTY Youngin, that's who I like right now. That's who I feel like gonna be special to me or whatever. My favorite artists and always have been, like I said, Jay-Z and Tupac. But if I had to say right now, who I like right now, I mean, I like a lot of Memphis artists right now. I love a
Yeah,
lot of Memphis
they
artists.
kind of got it on smash right
Yeah.
now.
And I always did love Memphis artists, even back in the day with 3 6 Mafia, 8 Ball, MJG. And I liked it. I always did like Memphis artists. GEEDY, I love Young Dolph a lot. Dolph was my dog. I was so hurt when he died.
Rest in
So
peace.
I love a lot of Memphis artists a lot. So, you know, that's probably what I say, whatever.
Do you have a certain type of genre of music or topic that you like to report on, or you just like kind of go with what's hot right now and what what's on what's trending?
Well, I try to stay what's trending because I want to stay in the now because I want to know what's going on right in real time. So if I could break something like Young Boy with the Billboard interview he just did, that was real big. I want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I covered that. They D.L. Hughley and Benjamin Crump was talking about the stuff that happened in Memphis with the guy being killed by the 5 police officers. I want to highlight that. So I might highlight politics, I might highlight hip hop, everything like the Shade Room. I don't want to just be pigeonholed to just New Orleans or to Louisiana. I don't want to just be that. I want to have a big audience. I want to have a big appeal. So I don't want to box myself into just one thing. Even though my heart is in New Orleans, but I want to try to cover everything. So yeah, my main thing is hip hop because I'm a hip hop baby, but I like politics. I like relationship stuff when women and men might be talking about that because I know that's gonna create a conversation because everybody gonna have how they feel about it. So
Yeah.
trying to have a broad appeal of content is gonna have you with a broader audience that's gonna want to follow you because it's a lot of shit that they could get, you know, instead of just having a couple of items on the menu. You got a variety of things. Like
Okay.
Walmart, I like Amazon. I
Yeah.
look at it like that.
Yeah. I fuck with that. I fuck with that. So, which live or episode was your favorite, and which one means the most to you?
Which one? You talking about one of mine?
Yeah.
Like I said, the live that recently the live I liked it a lot that I did was the one with Turk. When me and Turk was talking, and he was telling me this before I interviewed Turk, because I got an interview coming out soon that I interviewed Turk from the Hot Boys on. But Turk was just telling me how he had been watching me and studying me, and he a fan of what I do, and he see I'm not biased, so he liked me a lot and all that stuff like that. So that was a good one, and that was a recent one when I was on live. And what the other question was you said?
The one that mean the most to you.
Would live mean the most or would interview mean the most?
Both.
But that live meant the most. And the ones I do with my brother, because that's the main person I always get me to go live. My brother that's doing time in prison, that got a life sentence. Boss B. But my interview that meant the most to me,
Both.
the interview that I liked the most, I liked the last interview I did a whole lot. That really was a good interview, I think. The one on Boss Talk 101 out of Dallas. That one really, really meant a lot. But if I gotta say two more because these are important people. Sean Cotton interview with Say Cheese, even though he only put one part of it out, that meant a lot. That he came to New Orleans and interviewed me. That was the same time he interviewed Rifle 9 and Rifle 9, even know what Say Cheese was. And Sean Cotton was cool with that dude that owned that clothing store. So when Rob did that interview with Sean Cotton, he don't got no jewelry on. He not dressed up like a regular. I mean, like a rapper, he was kind of dressed down like regular. Cause his partner told him, man, you come here. If somebody's gonna interview you, it's gonna help you out. It was Sean Cotton. Sean really came down to interview me, and just so happened he interviewed Rob and some other artists or whatever. But I actually got interviewed by Sean Cotton the same at the Airbnb where he was sleeping at with his nephew and his cameraman. So he
Mm-hmm.
really fucked with me that much that I didn't have to like go meet him somewhere, which that would have been cool. But he actually let me come to where he laid his head at in New Orleans. Even when I interviewed him, I went to his house in Dallas. He gave me his address. I went pulled up to his house and interviewed him in his office, in his house. That's the kind of relationship we got. So him and Video Wayne meant a lot. When Video Wayne did that story on behind the success of BTY Young, he was talking about people that kind of work with Youngin. and I was one of them, and I appreciated that because Video Wayne didn't have to do that, so I appreciated that interview. So those
How
two
was it
meant a
working
lot.
with BTY? Rest in peace. Let us know about his personality behind the music. How was he as a person?
To me as a person, he a person that's really passionate. He love his family. He all about real. He real close with his family. His last name is Jerome's, so they really like real tight family and stuff like that. I mean, dude was like really passionate. Like he reminded me a lot of Tupac and DMX and the way he passionate and love his music and he outspoken. Um, like I said, he was just real with it and shit like that. You know, he spoke from the heart, and his music just touched me and it gave me goosebumps. So, you know, once I went to like diving deep into his music more and more, I just became a fan, and I liked it so much. It made it so easy for me to work with him and believe in him. You know, like any other artist that I fall in love with and I like him and I just lock in with him and it just made me turn up. You know, with him, and that's kind of how it was. So, sad that he no longer here, but I feel like his music and impact on other artists gonna live through them, just like Soldier Slim, just like Lil Derek, and any other artists like X or whoever that touched us for, if they, I wish he would have got big as them and all that stuff like that. But his music definitely was hard and it was real and shit like that from a real place.
The other artists you named, I feel, didn't get the reach their full potential. But this might sound strange, but I looked at him as a young Styles P, but he
Mm-hmm.
rapped like a young Meek Mill.
And who that was?
BTY.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, young and favorite
Like how
rappers
he
is like,
rocked, he was like a young Styles P, but his
yeah,
style was like a young Meek Mill.
yeah. Well, young and do like Styles and the locks. He like kissing all them, and so he liked the locks. I know he do like Meek Mill's a lot of them because he told me I think his cousin Youngster was putting him on Meek Mill's freestyles and all that in Philly. So that's why
Mhm.
Youngin, used to like to do his little raps in the streets and all that on YouTube when he rapping on the street with the bald head talking about, I bring the corner back like I retired from the corner like Dion, meaning
Yeah,
Deion Sanders. So Youngin liked them or whatever and stuff like that. So that's why his balls and punchlines was so crazy or whatever. And it just blew me away because he was really, really witty with it and it was raw, and that's why I was like, he had talent. And a lot of times you can't get like Clyde Davis couldn't give Whitney Houston that voice. He just
mm,
knew what to do with it. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant had those talents and skills. Phil Jackson just know what to do with it.
mm.
So I just like I know what to do with artists that got talent. Like if you got some type of talent, I could probably do something with you, in a way if I like it. And that's why I felt like it made my job easier. But a lot of times that's where good coaching coming at and good leadership, And that's why I feel like we complimented one another good. Just like Damon Dash and Jay-Z, T.I. and Jason Jeter, Coach K and Lil Baby. It's like these people work good together, And people don't be understanding why teams work so well. A lot of times people like, oh, I did it all by myself and nobody ain't helped me and all that, and they act like it's bad to give people their flowers and show gratitude. Like that's dick riding. You lame because you
Yeah.
bigging somebody else up. If I big somebody up for helping me, why I'm not? John Gotti even praised Neil. That was the man that he looked up to in the mafia. Even though John Gotti felt like he was supposed to be the next Don, but it wound up being Paulie Castellano or whatever.
Mhm.
But that's who put John Gotti on and gave him the game. So he never forgot that no matter how big he got as a Teflon Don. So no matter how big I get, you never forget who helped you get in the position where you at. So I don't think it's cool. I don't nothing wrong with showing gratitude, but that's just how I'm is.
I see when you say great coaches and great players, you left Dennis Allen, good jump coaching ass out. You heard me?
Chris Carter.
What's up with our team and why did we keep him?
Hold on, you talking about basketball or football?
Football.
Oh, how old Dennis Allen, the coach for who? You said the coach named Dennis Allen?
Yes. I think that's his name.
Oh, you talking about the Saints? The Saints.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
gym teacher looking nigga.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Like I said, bro. I mean, we definitely, it's definitely hard without showing and stuff right now. So I
He
don't
just
know if
wasn't
that's.
them.
And then, I know. That's why I'm like, damn, was he trying to just do that to get away from us, like how Barry Sanders was trying to get away from Detroit? But I don't know, man. Like I said, the quarterback stuff been kind of hard for us and all that shit like that. So it's just been kind of we just been in shambles for a while, and then everybody be getting hurt and all that stuff like that. So I don't know whatever. I feel like we need the right coach because it took us a long time to get that coach that we had. So sometimes it take time whatever to find that right fit, the right quarterback and the right coach. I feel like that always be a big part of any great you know team. They always have a great coach and a great quarterback. So
Leadership.
great in the basketball, you might have a great point guard and a great coach, or a great shooting guard and a great coach. So I feel like those things is really important in football: a great coach and a great quarterback.
What's
We
your
need them.
opinion? Your opinion, maybe speaking in general,
Mhm.
on the state of the streets in New Orleans.
Man, like I said, these murders are ridiculous, and I know COVID did affect. I mean, New Orleans been always been bad, but I see we back in the murder capital again, and a lot of cities across America after COVID, people wearing masks, people not making money, people frustrated about being inside, whatever it was. It just had everybody seem like they was wilding out, and New Orleans was too. And we don't have enough police out here. I think they said we got like 900 when we're supposed to have
Now,
like over 1,500. The council members going back and forth. They not on the same page. The mayor, so they all at City Hall fussing and everybody not coming up with a solution. But they going against them and they going against them. But nobody ain't sitting down and trying to figure out how to untie these knots. We locking people up at an alarming rate. We got the most incarcerated people in Louisiana on the planet, and
on
then
it.
it's more than China, probably 3 times more than Iran. But we still not stopping crime. So we locking everybody up. Got a high murder rate. Don't have enough police. Education system not good. Barely have jobs because everybody can work in the French quarters at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody gonna do what's next. Get in the streets, try to commit crimes, to try to eat. It's just like when they took when French quarters was closed down,
Mm-hmm.
all those rats was running over the street trying to find food because they was
Mm-hmm.
home. They came out. You didn't really see that. I mean, you see rats in the French quarters in Bourbon, but it was like ridiculous. These rats was running around like the rats in New York. You running
Yeah.
around Central Park.
Yeah. Yep.
But they said the rats was running around like that because they was looking for food. So
Food.
the same way when people don't got money, what you think they're gonna do? Like Tupac said, if you keep showing people and they keep saying I'm hungry, hungry, I want food, I'm hungry, and you got all this salami and steaks and ham and chicken that you eating on the other side of the peephole,
Eventually,
you
we
want
come and
that,
get that.
we're gonna kick it in, right? We're gonna come in because we're hungry. So that's the
Mm.
same way. So all that people being hungry and being fucked up out here and misguided is gonna breed all these things, all these problems. So it's not one thing; it's so many things that cause these problems. And then a lot of time, people in the South don't know how to resolve shit. They just so angry and so violent, and it's gun friendly in the South. People have guns and all these. They were showing too a map all these homicide weapons and all these weapons, period, guns that was coming from New Orleans and going to other places and going to other places. Like, so it's just crazy that all the guns that flow through here, all the corruption with the politics, it's just so much shit, bro. It's
The
ridiculous.
shit that put on the shit that they put on the guns, like the clips and the switches,
The switches,
all
it's
that type of
modified weapons. Yep. So you got people modifying weapons, and they can conceal these weapons easier than an assault rifle, but it's doing the same thing. An assault rifle could do shoot rapid and shoot so many people at one time. So it's just all this shit. Then you got people on drugs and all that. So this making their mind, well, they're already just ready to go, and fuck something up because they're not even in the right mind. Then you got niggas battling over drug territories in different parts of the city that be doing shit. Just like the mafia was battling over alcohol in the 20s and killing everything in New York and Chicago. So it's the same thing. History has shown.
fucking right, fucking right. So us as New Orleans, right?
Right.
In your opinion, did we get used to how it is? Do we even care?
I think in a way you're right. Some people have gotten numb to it. It's like you get on NOLA.com and see this person got murdered, this person got murdered, and people do still feel bad, but it's like they're so used to it, it don't even probably fuck up their day. They got some people that probably see news like that in the city that don't get no murders, and they be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe
Right.
somebody got killed right there," and it just traumatized them. But we done got so used to seeing people get killed, their bodies on the ground, that we got used to it, and it's normalized when that shit should never be normal. That should never be something that we get used to. People getting killed and think that's okay. No, it always is a product of that somebody's mama. That could be somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's uncle, somebody's daddy, cousin, best friend, anybody. That's somebody that got a story and got memories with people. And before people take people's lives, they need to be mindful of that. So So like you said, yeah, it's something bad that we got used to because we done been around violence so long. And it's just like somebody seeing their parents fighting the household and doing shit like that and just being toxic and violent and cursing each other out. It's just like normal. They're like, oh, that's just how they talk. No,
Yep.
people shouldn't talk to each other like that. It shouldn't be normal to disrespect one another like that. You know, that's a problem. People need to try to fix those problems, but they say hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people, hurt people. Can the local artists do anything about the problem, or is it too out of hand for anybody but the government to step in and do something?
You saying a local artist, or you talking about the people?
All of them, all of them. Like, is there anything that they could do as artists in the city, or
Well,
is it ain't got too bad?
I mean, everybody can always still do their part, trying to be positive, trying to be help out people and trying to be the one of the few situations artists, if they have some type of name, whatever, where they could kind of like be like stopping beefs, stopping shit from getting out of control, do things about being more united and trying to see how we could work together instead of working against each other. That's what they could do, whatever. But I think the main thing is the resources, the money. You know, New Orleans need money for more jobs, for more things to try to do with mental health and trying to talk to people and trying to show them that you ain't always got to grab a gun every time shit go another way and you get mad and you feel like you got to pick up a gun and shoot somebody down like a dog in the street. We don't got to always go to violence to try to solve everything, and that's something that could be helped out with the right resources and the right experts in those fields that could come do it. But they gotta care. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
care about the people to even love them enough to want to help. Because if you don't care, then you gonna feel like it ain't no problem. It ain't affecting my backyard. It ain't affecting my family. So I don't care what they got going on. As long as they stay in that parish and they stay in that zip code and they keep it out of my area, then it's fine. But when it start going over to their neighborhoods and affecting their kids, now it's a problem. Just like for the fucking fentanyl, certain people of a certain hue, kids start dropping dead from it. Now it's a problem. Now we need to get a grip on this because it's
It's
affecting
a
their kids.
sickness.
Right. And
Yeah,
it's been like that. But now the white people seeing it. So now they looking at, but this been going on.
right.
Even with crack, how it destroyed the black families in the 80s and the 90s.
We were drug addicts. They suffering from a sickness.
Right. So there's a
Don't
lot of things that cause these problems, and I think it's a lot of things, but they got to start somewhere, and that's the whole thing. And like I said, us as New Orleanians, we could try to do our best to try to bring people together instead of doing division because people like pushing negative narratives more than something positive and something uplifting and something inspirational.
They got a list that got a lot of local rappers in New Orleans. It's you
Right.
wouldn't know nothing about that list, huh?
I know about the list. I posted the list, whatever is a list of a blog, and they put a list out just like when the Vibe put a magazine out with Tupac and Biggie and them on one side, East Coast versus West Coast shit, and people help say how they felt about it when they took to the streets and interviewed people in LA and they interviewed people on the streets in New York. They say how they felt about that cover. When they post their list, just like when Say Cheese posted the list,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Cotton got blocked by Cash Dog. He got cursed out by rappers in Dallas. He got cursed out by rappers in Detroit and Chicago for making lists. That's what comes with making a list. If you don't want to make a list and you don't want to get no backlash, don't put a list out. They're gonna have some people that's gonna say how they feel distasteful about it in the comments. They're gonna have some people that's gonna feel how they gonna feel that's gonna make a video and say how they feel. And us as media people, we gonna post that. When I posted who my rappers is, I like this and that, people say, well, GD, I feel like you sleeping on this person, or you sleeping on me. They consider it. They have a right to do that. If I put it out to the world, then I got to take whatever come with that, because that's what I signed up for. Everybody not going to agree with what I do, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
for
sir.
people that felt like they wasn't on that list, they gonna feel a certain way. Me, I want to be on lists like billboards and American Music Awards and Grammys and Oscars and all kind of movies and other stuff. And even when those rappers and stuff don't be getting Grammys and American Music Awards or MTV Awards or whatever the awards is that they might feel like they want, they feel a certain way about it too, whatever. So everybody can always feel like they didn't make the NBA championship or the MVP or the best 3-point shooter the
Oh,
best
game.
Hall of Fame or whatever, because they feel like they should be on there. Everybody got a right to feel the way they feel, but it still should be done respectfully. Like when people be a little too disrespectful, but that's the internet. People gonna be a little bit fuck you. This shit is bullshit. I don't feel like people should go that far, but in media, you got to take that. And a lot of times people get mad at other media people because they doing great and people like them. And and it's not my fault because people love what I do. You know, other media people do what they do. I don't never tell nobody down. I don't never say this person lame or they shit whack. And no, I want to see everybody win. Because the bigger we get together, then it's gonna make us a hotbed. But if we tear each other down because this one doing better than you, we not gonna never get nowhere. And that's gonna do is keep setting us back. And that's all it has ever been doing. Every time somebody about to get out the pot, another crowd pull them back down.
Or they kill them.
Or they kill them.
But it's just it goes back to the simple fact is that list doesn't go off of album sales,
Right.
streams, don't go off of nothing.
Shows.
Somebody's opinion.
Right.
That's
Right.
it. So
Right.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Right. Right.
I think that you made a good point when you said, well, you ain't said it, but I'm like this. It's not the Grammy. It's not the
Right.
Billboard.
Right.
It's not the Hot 100 or nothing. It's just somebody's opinion. So
Exactly.
I think a lot of people just being petty, sensitive, and like trying to punk that man on
Right.
some shit. But I respect everybody. I respect everybody's opinion. And I respect their opinion of not liking the list. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So, all right. What happened that you even wanted to pick the camera up in the first?
And start doing interviews. A lot of my followers, my supporters, Street Dreams Army, shout out SDA. A lot of people from SDA was like, man, you need to do interviews because, like, you know, you could do like how Say Chi be doing the Vlad TV and all that, like interview people because we like, you know, your knowledge of things and, you know, you could do a podcast or something like that. Like, we just want to see you do stuff so we could just jump on what you got going on because we feel like you the one. So they kind of like thrust me into it. So then, you know, my mom and my brother, you know, had gave me some money. And they was like, man, go buy you a camera. And I went bought me a Sony 7A. I bought me a camera. I went got me some ring lights and soft lights and bought me a tripod stand. And, you know, I bought me a little notepad from Walmart, like to write my little questions down on so I could do my little journalism stuff, my homework. And then I started like, you know, finding people to interview when I felt like it. And it was all off feeling because I wasn't doing it, I was getting paid because I didn't want to do stuff. I didn't want to be controlled by the dollar. Because if I do that all the time and let the money control me, then it's gonna take away from my authenticity and me being like true to what I like and what I'm passionate about. Because you could tell that I really like interviewing the people I interview and I find it interesting because I do a lot of homework on them. And I think my audience find it interesting in their perspectives. So I try to do it with interesting people and I try to don't just let it all be about the money because you might interview somebody and they're not talkative. They don't really give long answers. They just be saying something and they're quiet and all that. You know, you got to ask people questions to open up them to talk. You know, you don't just be like, "What's your favorite color is?" Red. You might say, "Why do you like the color red so much? What's so cool about?" Now I gotta explain why I like red and this and that. I'm gonna go into details instead of just saying, "You like lasagna? Yeah, I like lasagna." But you ask me why I like it. What made me start liking it? So there, a lot of people. It's like a art behind it, and I'm still learning. You know, but I be paying attention to all of the people that's doing it, even from like the Barbara Streisands, all of like the big people, Barbara Walt, anybody. Like I try to look at all of them, you know. Lester Hurts, all of them. I just try to watch all that stuff, you know.
I only watched 3 platforms, and you one of them.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
What live subject you posted about that got the most feedback?
What live I posted that got a lot of attention before?
What live you did or subject that you posted on that got the most attention?
Damn, the most attention I did on my page that got a lot of attention. I think something that got a lot of attention that I posted before was when Rob had did the video. Rob 49 had did the video. And Jay Black had said how he felt about it. And then you know that kind of had went viral or whatever. And another one that went viral is when Slim Thug was saying that all these refugees need to something like that. He called us like refugees or some shit he said when everybody went out there for I think Hurricane Ida, went back to Texas. And he trying to say like people gotta get the guns and all because they coming out here and whatever. And then I said what I said about him, and that went viral. So when Slim Thug kind of took shots at us, knowing how we felt about Katrina, and then y'all gonna call us refugees again. So that kind of that was one I could think of. Those two.
Fuck Slim Thug on the my opinion. Fuck
right. Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, so look, check this out. Before we get out of here,
Okay.
give a young, I guess, digital creator, blogger, whatever we do. Give me some game, brother.
Well, the advice I would tell everybody: find out how to put your post together. Get your right little collage thing. Like we'll put the text, the words like that they can really read. Like what this about? Police brutality. Top 5 rappers of all time. Put the words on that. Sometimes they help. Um, use the picture sometime to show if you got someone you might be speaking about. How you feel about NBA YoungBoy? Put NBA YoungBoy picture on the side. Put your opinion about what you're saying. That's gonna help in the algorithms. Be consistent. Don't stop. Don't worry about the numbers. Because when I first started, I ain't have no followers of them. Like, and I just kept going and kept learning. So don't worry about the numbers. Just keep trying to do the best videos. If you have act like you got 100,000 followers, treat it the ten followers just like you had 100,000 followers. Like, still give them the best information because people gonna share it and people gonna tell other people about you, and your shit gonna be getting out there. Even when people loving you in silence, they know who you is. Just keep working. Put your head down and work. Put your 10,000 hours in. Um, I would say don't get caught up in the comments. Don't go back and forth too much with people, opinions. If they saying negative stuff about you, just keep showing love. The shit gonna come back to you. Get out of town, travel, do interviews with other people because it's just like getting a connect. On Paid in Full, on State Prop, them boys had to go to Miami to come back to Philly with it. On Blow, your boy had to go meet Pablo Escobar. He had to leave. Like, so everybody got to go. Master P had to go to the Bay and get the game out there and come back to New Orleans and help turn us up. So sometimes you got to leave. Sean Connery had to go to Detroit. He had to go to St. Louis, New Orleans, and a slew of other places, LA, to interview people because Dallas people wasn't taking him that serious. But in the end, now he the biggest thing out there. He got a Lamborghini, he got a lot of stuff, and it's inspiring. And I like to see another black man go from nothing to something, from working a 9 to 5 job to living out his dreams and stuff like that. When it could be kind of discouraging for all of us sometimes, even if you got out of prison and you change your life around, and you're trying to do something different and something more meaningful that you can look back and say, "Damn, I did something and I contributed to the culture and to something positive to help other people." Get their story out there. So that's what I always tell people. Just like, it don't matter how you start, it's how you finish. And remember, like Jeff Bezos said that started Amazon, big things start small.
You give Sean Cotton a lot of credit. Big up to him. I
Right.
think I kind of look at you like you look at him.
Right. Thank you,
You
man.
know,
Appreciate that.
you. I kind of, like I said, I only watched 3 other platforms. You one of them. Before we get out of here, you my first. It's Black History Month, but I'm celebrating Young Black History Month, and
Right.
you kicked off that. I appreciate you. Do you got the last word before we get up out of here?
Man, like I said, I appreciate that you said that the way you look at Sean Cotton is the way you look at me. And that
Yeah,
really means a lot because, like I said, everybody got somebody that kind of help inspire them. And that's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with showing love and appreciate people that inspire you. Just like Diddy worked under Andre Harrell, and then Diddy started Bad Boy, and we knew what happened after that. And even before Andre Harrell gave Diddy a shot, Russell Simmons gave him a shot. He worked under Russell Simmons' management company, and then he started Uptown Records with Jodeci and Heavy D and the Boys and a slew of other artists at Uptown Records. That's where Puffy got his start at. So everybody inspire somebody, and there's nothing wrong with us bigging one another up and inspiring each other. And I appreciate you taking the time to interview me, bro. And for everybody that's doing media, keep up the good work. We ain't putting out no hate. We only putting out love. I want to see everybody win because all I'm trying to do is build bridges. And that's the problem with our city, is that we so busy tearing each other down and division. And every time somebody trying to get out the pot, somebody trying to pull them down or trying to kill them or trying to clip their wings before they make it. And that's why we can't never have none, because we always going against each other instead of trying to be the one to say we not about to push that narrative. We not about to be for that. We're against all hate. We're against all division. We only for positivity and pulling one another up. So we don't, when they go low, like Michelle Obama said, we go higher. So man, like I said again, big things start small. Keep up the good work. Keep going. Don't worry about the numbers. Just keep working, and they're gonna see you at the top. I guarantee you that.
shout out to you. Shout out to Sean Cotton. Shout out to Doing It Boy Johnny. That was my first guest. You
Shout
heard
out
me?
to him.
It's P. Dot the General, and
Yeah.
the podcast. You keep your body clean, huh?
Already. And shout out my nigga Kenny Boo too over there from DBs.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
No
100.
problem, bro. Thank you.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
All right.